department store chain Myer has entered a binding agreement to acquire the retail business Apparel Brands, which is owned by the conglomerate Premier Investments. Joining me now is business reporter Edward Boyd. Ed, great to see you. This deal, though, has been bubbling away since June, right?
Yeah, this was first announced back in June. The two companies were going to sort of start having some pretty in-depth talks and figure out whether a takeover or really technically this is a merger deal would be suitable. And now a few months later, we've got this announcement that was posted on the stock exchange this morning by Myer, and then Premier Investments put out their own announcement a short time later. But let's just put up the first slide here with some of the details of this deal because it's a little bit complicated. But basically, Myer is buying the Apparel Brands group, which is Just Jeans, JJ's, Dotty, Jackie and Portman's. Now, to do that, they're going to issue almost 900 million shares of Myer to Premier Investments, which owns those brands. Premier will then pay Myer $82 million. Myer shareholders will then own about 48.5% of this newly formed group. Premier Investment shareholders will own 51.5% of this new group. And then the major shareholder in both of those companies is called Century Plaza Group, which is owned by the billionaire Solomon Lew, and he's the main owner of Premier Investments. His company is now going to own about 27% of the combined new entity. So Solomon Lew will get a board seat at this newly formed Myer business. If we go to the next page, we can have a look at what this newly formed company is going to look like. So total sales expected per annum will be about $4.1 billion. You can see on the right column, that is what Apparel Brands currently makes. So when you add them together, you get $4.1 billion. The earnings, or EBIT, it's going to be double, basically, $152 million. The number of stores is going to increase significantly to about 783, and the number of employees is going to jump as well to about 17,300. So this is a big deal. It obviously requires shareholder approval from both Myer shareholders and Premier Investments shareholders, but it's pretty clear from reading the stock market releases this morning that both the directors of both companies are really on board with this, and they're keen to get this deal done as soon as possible, Holly.
Well, the process of the takeover there is quite convoluted, isn't it? But the deal is expected to generate at least $30 million in earnings each year over the short to medium term.
Yeah, so when it was first announced back in June, there was a lot of speculation. We had the chart on the screen showing the number of stores just a minute ago. A lot of the cost cutting is probably going to come from a lot of the stores owned by Apparel Brands, which are in big shopping centres across Australia, could potentially close, and then those stores could basically turn up in Myer stores. So you could see like a Just Jeans section within a Myer department store or a Dotty section within a Myer department store. So the expectation, it hasn't been exactly announced today by the announcement, but there's probably going to be a mass closure of stores at some point for the companies to cut costs. But right now, all they've said is they're looking at $30 million extra in earnings each year due to this deal over the short to medium term. But I think we can probably expect more announcements to come probably by 2025 once this deal goes ahead. You can see here the stock market today, it's up about 0.4% in early trade. Market's probably been lifted by tech stocks. They've had a pretty good run in the US over last night, and that's helped lift the market this morning in early trade, Holly.
Ed Boyd, lovely to see you. Thanks so much.
Thanks.